12 questions that make you unforgettable. Most men speak to be liked, to be chosen, to belong. But the stoic man? He speaks to leave a mark. He doesn't fill space with noise, he creates space with presence. While others chase validation, he builds gravity. This video isn't about charm or clever lines, it's about emotional resonance, the kind that lingers in her body long after the moment ends. The right question, asked with calm and intention, doesn't need volume. It simply cuts through, not with pressure, but with clarity. These 12 questions aren't strategies. They're quiet keys, each one crafted to reach her depth, not her defenses. And when you ask without trying to get, but simply to understand, something shifts. She feels it. You become unforgettable, not because you chased her, but because you saw her. Welcome to Ancient Stoic Secrets. 101. The Soul Print, what leaves her marked. What kind of man is unforgettable to you? Most men think it's about being the nicest, the safest, the most convenient. But often, it's the man who stirred something wild, something chaotic. Maybe he didn't stay, maybe he wasn't even good for her, but he left a mark. This question doesn't just pull from her logic, it tugs at her memory, her senses, her body. When you ask it without flinching, without needing to be the answer, you allow her to remember. And memory is where connection lives. Most men try to impress with effort. The stoic man does it with presence, still, grounded, focused. That's what makes him unforgettable. Not his volume, but the silence he can hold when her truth begins to speak. Number 2. The fire beneath, her wildness hidden. What's the most dangerous thing someone has awakened in you? Every woman carries a storm, a part of herself too intense for the world to hold. And so, she hides it. Not because it's wrong, but because it's real. This question invites that wildness out of hiding. When asked calmly, without judgment, it creates a rare space. A space where she can show fire without being burned by it. Most men flinch at her chaos. A stoic man doesn't. He meets her at the edge, not to tame her, but to prove he won't run. And that's magnetic. He doesn't chase the flame, he contains it, holds it, and in doing so she realizes, maybe this time, it's safe to be seen. Number 3. Beyond words, when her body speaks first. What signals does your body give when you're attracted, but hiding it? Attraction lives in micro movements, breath that catches, fingers that fidget, posture that shifts. Her body remembers what her mind tries to resist. Most men try to decode her. The stoic man invites her to notice herself. This question bypasses small talk and lands in self-awareness. You're not using it to trap her. You're using it to understand her. And that difference? She feels it. It builds trust. She may not give a clear answer, but her energy will shift. Because presence, not pressure, is what makes her feel safe. The kind of safety that isn't passive but powerful, and that's where real intimacy begins. Not in what's said, but in what's noticed. 4. Her sacred vulnerability. What is your most secret weakness? Not the cute kind she jokes about online, the real one, the one she's never put into words. You don't ask this to fix her, you ask to witness. Every woman, no matter how strong, guards something sacred. It's not about being broken, it's about being human. The stoic man doesn't rush in, he doesn't give advice, he listens with stillness, with reverence, and that creates a kind of trust most men never earn. She'll test you, watch you, wait to see if you flinch, and when you don't, when you just hold space, she'll soften not because you told her to, but because you let her. That's what sets you apart. You don't rescue her, you respect her. 5. The magnetic edge of danger. What does a man do that makes you feel in danger, but want him more? It's not physical danger she craves, it's emotional exposure, the kind that unsettles her but pulls her in. When a man stands firm in his truth, sets boundaries without needing applause, walks away from disrespect without drama, she feels it. That kind of presence is rare. It's not loud, but it's electric. The stoic man doesn't need to dominate. He doesn't explain himself. He leads, quietly, unapologetically, and that creates tension. Real, sacred tension. When you ask this question, you're not asking her about men. You're asking her to admit what kind of strength truly stirs her. And if you stay calm while she answers, she just might realize, it's you. 6. Unleashing her secret self. What's the craziest thing you'd do if no one ever knew it was you? Every woman has a hidden life inside her, a secret self the world has never met. This question isn't about fantasy, it's about freedom. Who would she be if no one judged, if no one watched? You're not asking to impress her. You're giving her permission to release the pressure. Most men only pursue the version of her that's polished. You ask to see what's raw, wild, honest, and when she realizes you're not afraid of that part, when you don't laugh, interrupt, or react, something shifts. You become the first man she doesn't have to perform for. And in a world of demands and expectations, that's everything. Her silent struggle with falling. How do you act when you're falling for someone but don't want to admit it? She'll say it's a joke. She'll tease. She'll pull back, just enough to protect herself. Love, when denied, becomes a quiet war. And most men either miss the signals or push too hard. The stoic man does neither. He simply observes, gently, steadily. This question isn't about calling her out, it's about calling her into her own self-awareness, into the space where she's finally allowed to admit, I feel something. And when she laughs, not because it's funny, but because it's true, you'll know you've reached her. Not with pressure, but with presence. And that's when the mask begins to fall. 8. The man she still remembers. What left the biggest mark on you from a man, even if he's gone? This isn't about digging up her past. It's about understanding what shaped her. Every woman carries an imprint, a look, a silence, a goodbye that stayed too long. When you ask this question with steadiness, without flinching, you create a space where her memory feels safe to surface. The stoic man doesn't compete with ghosts. He learns from them. And that humility, that maturity, it draws her in more than any charm could. Because now, you're not just present, you're aware. Aware of where she's been, aware of what hurts. And if you can hold that truth without trying to rewrite it, you become something new, a man she can trust. 9. The mystery that defies logic. Have you ever felt drawn to someone and couldn't explain why? Some people bypass logic. They don't fit the type. They don't make sense on paper. Yet they linger in your thoughts for days, months, years. When you ask this question, you're not asking her about someone else. You're allowing her to name the unexplainable, the energetic, the magnetic. You're inviting her to reconnect with the feeling of being pulled, not by effort, but by essence. The stoic man doesn't try to generate that feeling. He becomes it. He doesn't entertain her mind. He anchors her nervous system. And in that stillness, in that grounded space, she starts to feel that same inexplicable draw toward you. 10. The place reserved for the one who understands. If someone could understand you without explanation, what place would they hold in your life? We all want that. To be seen without needing to explain. To be held without having to earn it. Most people exhaust themselves trying to be understood, but the stoic man offers something different. Stillness. He listens for what's unspoken. He hears beneath the words. And because he doesn't rush to fix or fill the silence, she begins to trust it. And in that trust, something opens. She begins to rest. And the man who becomes her emotional sanctuary doesn't just win her affection. He becomes irreplaceable. Not because he chased, but because he saw. 11. Her resistance to being claimed. What part of you wants to be claimed, but fears it? Deep down, even the strongest woman desires surrender. Not in weakness, but in trust. To be led, not controlled, but seen, held, safe. She may never say it out loud, but it lives in the way she tests you, in how she resists softness while secretly craving it. The stoic man doesn't seek submission. He earns surrender through his unshakable presence. He doesn't demand, he invites. And when she sees that your strength doesn't suppress her, but supports her, she begins to lean in, quietly, fully, because her deepest longing isn't to be conquered, it's to be claimed with care. 12. The emotion behind her eyes. What emotion do you wish someone would see in you, without you having to show it? Sometimes it's sadness, sometimes hope, sometimes it's the ache of being misunderstood for too long. Most people never ask this. Most men never notice. But a stoic man does. He watches not just what she says, but how she says it. He reads her pauses, her quiet sighs, her gaze when she thinks no one is watching. This question allows her to drop the mask, to stop performing, to be. And that changes everything. When you see what others ignore, you don't just touch her heart, you show her that she matters without having to try. These questions are not about getting attention. They're about holding emotional depth with composure. Most men try to impress through words. The stoic man listens with stillness. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't chase. He creates space. And in that space, she reveals the version of herself no one else gets to see. That's what makes him unforgettable. Not charm, not noise, but presence. So ask these questions, not to impress her, but to meet her, fully, fearlessly, quietly.
Subscribe to Ancient Stoic Secrets for more tools that help you master your mind, your masculinity, and your mission. This is just the beginning.